Hi guys. So today it's a bit of a rainy day, so we're going to be doing some driving around. We're going to stop. I'm actually on my way to Home Depot right now, out on Forest Avenue, to pick up some saw blades. I need some pencils, some nails, all that good stuff, just random supplies, nothing worthy of major note. Just to give you guys an update, we're still going pretty strong. The weather has held out nicely for us. Work-wise, I'll be trying to post a couple of videos in the next few days now that the holiday is approaching. My 337 Bobcat excavator broke down earlier this week. The idler pulley for the fan belt snapped off, causing the fan belt to fall down on the floor and pretty much caused the machine to overheat rather instantaneously. So the machine had to be shut down. Luckily the job was pretty much done, just had a couple of buckets of stone to move. Ended up moving them with the wheelbarrow, no big deal. So hopefully that machine will be ready today for me to pick up. The job I'm working on now, it has so much site work that my father has been doing the excavating, so I didn't have to rent the machines from him. It was a little wet, so I probably would have rented the track loader from him just to not have to push my wheel loaders so hard in soft ground. You know, when I have to do it, I do, but I'd rather avoid it to help out, you know, keep the drive motors and the drive chains going. So that's the first thing. So hopefully the machine will be ready today for pickup, or maybe I'll pick it up tomorrow since it's raining so hard. I don't like to trailer in the rain when it's not necessary. So we're off to Home Depot. After that, I'm going to stop at a potential client's office to drop off his proposals for 3 different projects he has starting up in the next few weeks. He asked me for a price to do all of the concrete work, so I'm going to get him those numbers today since I have the time. Going to try to pick up a couple of checks today, as a matter of fact, to close out the year. They're little checks, nothing major. It was just a couple of little one-day things that we had to pour, so this way the next trade can do their job. Sometimes, you know, before you can run, you got to walk, so sometimes we have to do a couple of little odds and ends on jobs. This way the next trade could come in and do what they have to do. So those checks I'm going to try to collect today, the little baby ones. After that, I'm going to be emailing some new bills out to customers. The jobs are now complete and it's time to send them a bill to try to get some money. Okay guys, I just got out of Home Depot. I just wanted to show you the box I ended up with. This is the Makita contractor pack. It's 3 diamond blades in one package. You buy 3, you get 1 free. Look at this box. Man, is it for hunger. Got a big rip in the top, but we investigated the 3 blades and they're all good to go. Just the packaging was damaged, but yeah, very nice salespeople at Home Depot. They actually gave me 10% off because the packaging was damaged, so that was actually very, very nice of them. So yeah, just wanted to show you the box. I picked up a 30-pound box of nails and some caution tape, but yeah, this is a great deal though for these blades. Okay guys, so I'm just getting out of Lowe's. I stopped at Home Depot, I stopped at Harbor Freight, and now I just got out of Lowe's. Unfortunately, when I make these tool trips, I tend to need tools from different places. At Home Depot I got the diamond blades. I showed you the box. They have that great deal, 2 for 3 blades for the price of 2. Then I stopped at Harbor Freight for the drill bits. I have the Harbor Freight rotary hammer. I actually switched over to all Harbor Freight tools. Once my truck was robbed on a job, it was parked down the street, and because on these new construction sites you have to have plywood fences, the truck was kind of shielded from our view, and my truck was robbed of all the power tools. Luckily, the laser and the chop saw were with us on the job site, Otherwise, they would have got some real high-ticket items. Instead, they just took one of my worm drive saws. They took the rotary hammers. I had 2 rotary hammers. And they took my big chipping gun. I had a pretty large Hilti chipping gun. All Hilti tools. And ever since then, I decided to just get Harbor Freight tools. We don't use the tools that often, and they're not worth much, so I feel that they're less likely to disappear. So that's what I've been doing. So I picked up the bits from Harbor Freight just because they're so significantly cheaper. You could actually get the 5-pack of the bits for $10 for the rotary hammer, and get, you know, decent sizes, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4. Those are the size rebars that we generally work with, and you get them for $10. Get one Bosch bit, it's $20 just for the 5/8. So for me, again, you know, those for the carpenter pencils, because the Home Depot pencils just break apart in our hands. So we actually use the Lowe's pencils. They have a Dixon brand, and those pencils are great. They actually last a lot longer, and they're a lot easier to sharpen in the field. A lot of times the Home Depot pencils will split right in two. Even though the Home Depot pencils are cheaper, the Lowe's pencils last a heck of a lot longer. So that's my theory with that. I'm on the way to the client's office. I mentioned before I'm going to drop off my proposals, and I was just remembered a funny story. I actually did work for this customer before I was doing cement work, back when I was doing the equipment rentals and landscaping. What ended up happening was the person purchasing the home wanted a basement entrance cut into the house, so they did the amendments, but it required us to go back. The job was not complete yet, so it was still a construction site, and what they had set up was the houses were back to back. It was actually like a private street, almost like a cul-de-sac. And what wound up happening was National Grid came, or Keyspan, you know, this is so many years ago, I forget who it was. They ran the gas main on the people's property, which is actually illegal on the private property. Someone must have made a mistake, and we didn't have the curb in yet, so obviously, you know, Keyspan made a boo-boo. And what wound up happening was, when we dug for the basement entrance to do the footing and the wall, we exposed the gas main. Did not break it, but the pipe was exposed. It wasn't dangling in the air. It was to the side of my bench of the trench, because I actually benched the hole to make it safe according to OSHA rules and regulations. So they called Keyspan because obviously the pipe had to be rerouted. So I was not there the next day. There was no excavation work for me. We poured the footing that day that I dug it, and then the cement contractor went back there the next day to put up the wall, and Keyspan had showed up. Obviously this was a important situation to be resolved, and they wanted to arrest the cement contractor for exposing the gas main. They said it was an act of terrorism. So everyone was laughing, but Keyspan was dead serious about it, because obviously this was after 9/11, so just about everything is now an act of terrorism. And what wound up happening was he actually got out of it, because he said, well, your pipe is illegally run on our property, and it should have never even been a problem to begin with. And how could you arrest me when you did something illegal? So obviously nobody wanted to go there. Everything got kind of hush-hush, and it was kind of, okay, we screwed up, you screwed up, let's all look the other way. So obviously the problem was resolved without conflict. Keyspan did have to run a new main for the customer to the houses that were set in the back of the private street, and the customer got their basement entrance without further delay. Alright guys, so my rainy day trilogy continues of running around. So I just left the office of the new client who wanted to meet with me. The meeting went over very well, a couple of questions, but it went over well. The only issue we had was, unfortunately, my availability to start the projects was a little bit of a problem, but we're going to see. We're going to see how it works out and take it from there. I told them we'll stay fluid and we'll just see what happens, which is the best answer. They said, it's a little bit slippery, but, you know, as I always say, we'll do the very best we can to try to accommodate everyone. And that's all you can really do. So, meeting went well. He liked the prices I gave him, which I felt were very fair. And he felt they were fair as well. So, we'll take it from there. We'll see how everything goes. And that's basically it. So I'm heading back to the office now. I'm going to make a couple of bills and send them out. As you can see, I'm eating on the road. I got my Dunkin' Donuts chicken sandwich, but they ran out of ciabatta bread, so I had to go with the English muffin. The Bobcat dealership received a call from my mechanic, and my mechanic ordered the parts for the machine. However, Bobcat did not realize that he was ordering the parts for my excavator. They thought he was calling randomly and ordering parts for something else, which I don't even understand how that works. So they weren't shipping the parts. I don't know what was going on in the translation of everything. I don't really know if he has a bad rapport with Bobcat, or maybe Bobcat's just on holiday patrol and no one's really thinking straight. But it didn't get picked up. Excuse me. And he didn't, my mechanic never received the parts. I called him yesterday just to check in, and he said, well, I never got the parts. He goes, you know, he said Bobcat is in disarray. So I called Bobcat. They explained to me the situation. I said, well, please send the parts. So they're going to send the parts to him today. He was going to send one of his men there to pick up the parts, which would have cost me a fortune, because Bobcat is a 1-hour ride there and back. Maybe now it's the holiday, less traffic. It would take maybe 40 minutes, depending how fast you can go and if you're in a car. But at any rate, so I still don't have my machine. Thankfully, it's not a big deal, because I rented the machines for my father, and it was a little muddy, so it's not really the end of the world. So guys, when you have a situation like this, just make sure that you stay on top of it, because I didn't really stay on top of it like I usually do. I kind of like let it ride and let other people handle it, and as you can see, that almost was a pretty big mistake. And the thing that upset me the most was that no one called me. It would have taken a 1-minute phone call to say, Mike, I'm having a problem ordering parts. Or they could have called me and said, Mike, some guy is ordering parts. Is this a legitimate charge? You know? All they had to do was a little communication would have went a long, long way here. But, you know, again, it is what it is. So just remember, always stay on top of everything. Don't let anything slide. Okay, guys? I guess I will see you soon, and have a very happy and healthy new year.